everyone, and welcome to this session of Short and Sweet. Today, the theme is insurance, more precisely, guarantee insurance. And for many, this is a business that can seem quite old-fashioned, little automated. And this is something that House of Guarantees and Contemi is trying to fight and do something about. So today we have with us Daniel Tavelin from Contemi and Marius Harsjøen from HOGS. Welcome, both of you. So maybe, Marius, you can start with presenting yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Marius, and I'm working as Head of Analytics at House of Guarantees. I've been with HOGS since late 2018, where I started off part-time while taking my master degree in finance, where I had an emphasis on working with machine learning techniques in the financial markets. And went after that into a full-time job at HOGS, where I've been working in the intersection between finance and technology, trying to develop better digital solutions for the guarantee industry.
Thank you. And my name is Daniel Tavelin. Previously, I've worked with companies like Storebrand, Tieto, Seasons. Today, I'm the executive director at Contemi Solution, responsible for our global SaaS offering. And one of the customers that we're proud to have is HOGS. But Marius, for those who don't know HOGS that well, could you do a short introduction there as well?
Absolutely. House of Guarantees, it's a young company. We were established back in 2018. And we are a managing general agent of Liberty Mutual. And Liberty is one of the largest insurance and guarantee companies on a global scale. And we have the exclusive right to issue guarantees on behalf of Liberty in the Nordic markets, which implies that Liberty is our risk carrier. And up until this point, we are mainly present in Norway, but we also have certain exposure towards the Swedish and the Danish markets. And the vision of HOGS is to have the most customer-centric mindset while still emphasize and have a focus on technology and digital solutions. And speaking of digital solutions, maybe you can introduce Contemi as well, Daniel?
That I can do. So give a brief overview of Contemi. So we provide IT solutions for the financial service industry. We aim to deliver Nordic quality combined with Asian experience and cost effectiveness. Today we're supported by Triple P Capital. We have a mantra of profit with purpose. So that's also something we try to take into our development. We've been around for 2 decades, have about approximately 50 customers and 250 employees spread around the globe. We do provide services within wealth management, post-trade, and insurance. And HOGS, they're one of our customers within the insurance division. But there, Marius, guarantee, is that the same as insurance or not?
So that is actually a very good question, because whenever I talk to people outside of the guarantee industry, I usually ask them the question, could you please try to explain to me what is the difference between a guarantee and an insurance? And for most people, they don't know what are like the differences between the two of them. They would probably say it's pretty much the same. And even though there are some overlapping factors, there are also some explicit differences between the two of them. And I would say, basically, there are 2 main differences. And for an insurance, there will always be 2 parties involved. So you will have an insurance company, and then you will have a client. But for guarantees, there are always going to be 3 parties involved. And I think the best way of describing this is through an example. So let's say there's a contractor who is specialized on setting up an apartment. And then there's a real estate developer who will pay the contractor for setting up the apartment. And these 2 parties will have a contractual obligation between the 2 of them. But for some reason, one of the companies might think that there's a risk of the other company going bankruptcy, for instance. And this is where a guarantor or a guarantee company will step in and helping to offload certain parts of the risk in the project by taking on some of the risk. And a guarantee is then, it's a promise to secure an obligation or a liability for one of the parties against another one. And the other main distinction between a guarantee and an insurance is that for insurance companies, they are an understanding that there's going to be claims on the insurance products. But for a guarantee, however, we are going to be far more selective when it comes to risk taking, because the risk analysis is more comprehensive. It takes more time working with the guarantee, and it's not as easy and possible to automate as what it is for an insurance product. And for guarantee products, there are multiple different amounts of guarantee products. In my opinion, we can separate the products into 3 subcategories, at least here in Norway. And the first category would be those guarantees that are required by law, implying that companies will need to issue a guarantee in order to fulfill a project. And these are mainly seen within construction and real estate development. But other guarantee types can be regulatory guarantees, for instance, where a governmental entity is the counterpart. And then the last category is the more tailor-made guarantees, where companies can have different requirements and needs on how to structure a guarantee. And lastly, what are the benefits of utilizing a guarantee? So like I previously mentioned, a guarantee can work to offload certain parts of a risk in a project, but there are also other benefits, like a guarantee can work for freeing up liquidity for general business purposes, investments, working capital, etc. And that leads us on to the reason. So why is there such a great need for disruption and innovation within the guarantee industry? And for me, going into the industry a couple of years ago, I had no prior experience with the guarantee industry, but I had been observing some of the innovations and disruptions that has been going on in the insurance industry in Norway. And it's been amazing to see how these small fintech companies are disrupting and evolving, changing the environment for the insurance industry, but also the large player having a focus on trying to make easier solutions for the customer. But for some reason, we haven't really seen the same trend in the guarantee industry in Norway. And in my opinion, there are basically 2 main reasons for this. And first of all, since guarantee is a niche product, that also means that most companies are not aware of the benefits of utilizing a guarantee. There's not a lot of transparency in the Norwegian guarantee industry. There's not that much information available, so the companies don't really understand the complexity on how to use a guarantee product. And the second main reason, which I also think is the most important reason why there hasn't been a lot of innovation in the guarantee industry, it's because of the comprehensive risk analysis which the guarantee companies will need to do in order to look at the risk in a company and a guarantee whenever they are issuing it. And for instance, for insurance products, it's more easy to automate the process because the products are more standardized. But for guarantees, we will need to look at financial analysis. We will need to look at project risk management and even macroeconomic variables and other factors. And we need to absorb all of this information and then make a comprehensive risk analysis. So there's a lot of time-consuming activities related to working with guarantees, which also makes it more complicated to automate the different processes. And the companies in Norway which have been suffering the most from the lack of innovation within the guarantee industry are the small and medium enterprises. And these companies are really, or are either not having the knowledge and the understanding on how to utilize a guarantee product, or they will go to a guarantee company, but since the amount on these guarantees are so low and the time-consuming activities related to issuing a guarantees are so high, it's hard to align the incentives of the guarantee companies to work with these SME companies. And then the only solution for these companies will then be to go to a bank, because banks are also able to issue guarantee products. But banks are often also reluctant to work with guarantees because they have not their main competence and expertise on guarantees, but they would rather focus on more value-adding products like loans and credit facilities. But since the small and medium enterprises are not able to get guarantees from the guarantee companies, they will have to issue guarantees from the banks. And that also mean that they will tie up capacity at the banks by using that capacity for guarantee products instead of loans, where they can use that for growth, investments, etc. So it's a lose-lose situation because the guarantee companies are not able to take part of the growth for the small and medium enterprises in Norway, and the SME companies are losing out because they need to tie up capacity at their banks by using that for guarantee products instead of loans. And of course, the banks are also losing out because they will need to focus on less value-adding products to work with. So even though the guarantee process, it's complicated, and we have to take all this into consideration, we still believe that there is a possibility to do more automatic work for the guarantee industry. And that's what we, in collaboration with Contemi, has been working on now for the last couple of years. So Daniel, if you could explain to me a little bit about the Seamless system.
Yeah, so going more into the details and the platform behind. So Seamless that we have and delivered today is, it's a cloud-native insurance software platform that is delivered as a service through AWS. So Seamless, it's built around holistic customer management and multi-channel sales, but with a microservice architecture to have the optimal fit for our customers' business needs. And so Seamless is a platform consisting of multiple microservices. And guarantees and guarantee management could be seen as the first microservice that we had. So when HOGS came to us, we had historically been building more monolithic services. But then with the insights or business insight of HOGS, guarantee management became the first microservice. And the reason, there is multiple reasons why we want a microservice architecture. Some of them mentioned here. So having independent components means that we have more flexibility and more control. So if there's an error, example, in one microservice, that does not affect the other microservices. Also, you can use the technology that's optimal for that microservice since they work independently. It's also then easier understanding, you could call that. So for the customer, since we can turn on and off, or the customer can turn on and off microservices, that means that they can focus on the specific service for their business goals. And of course, scalability. So microservices can be scaled independently with cost and time efficiency. So optimizing that towards the customer and the cost there. And yeah, finally, the last point I want to take is API driven. So APIs are used for communication within the platform, making it easier also to integrate to other third-party services. So creating that ecosystem that we'll also talk a bit about. I think so that the process with HOGS, it also shows a bit on what we aim to do. So we aim to put the user in the center of our product development. And I think also working with HOGS, that's also how they see their customers. And a couple of the elements I want to mention. So working backwards by AWS, that's something that we've now implemented. We learned that while attending the SaaS factory together with AWS, and it's a really powerful methodology actually. So meaning that you start with the customer, the customer's needs, and then you build out the process and you have a press release and an FAQ before you do any development. So actually knowing what you're going to do, how it will be solving a customer's needs before you start building it. Also, within the cooperation with HOGS shows a bit that our process for innovation and development is based on close cooperation with discovery users. This is something that I recommend for everyone because basically having the development together with your customer ensures that users can and will adopt new modules and functionalities. So we don't waste cost, and our customers or the market gets functionality that fits their needs. So Seamless today, we've of course used this to develop Seamless. We're using it now also for the continued development. So we have continuous release and push out new functionality every month. But Seamless today is a modern solution focused to increase sales and customer experience. all from initial sales throughout loyalty in one place. So as mentioned earlier, it's an end-to-end platform, but with microservices for guarantee management, for more insurance policy lifecycle management, commercial and private lines, but also product building, reporting, and all that in one solution. We do also provide portals and insights. So with HOGS, you have a customer portal and an agent portal. So we have that as well. And as mentioned, digital ecosystem. So we want to have simple integration so that our customers also can easily turn on and off the features and integrations that they need so that they can get value from third-party applications as well. Because we won't develop everything that HOGS would need, and they would need other systems as well. Going from there, so the AGS system, Magnus. No, Marius, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So taking the competence which Contemi has in making good and great digital solution and combining that with the understanding we have of the guarantee market and the risk analysis involved in issuing guarantees, we have built on the synergies to create and develop an automated guarantee system, which is tailor-made for the small and medium enterprises in Norway. And the name is very simple, and that's because we want to make a simple and easy to use system for the customers. It's going to be a self-service system where the companies can do the entire guarantee application process themselves without any involvement from HouseOfGuarantees. And it's set up in a way where the companies will just need to input certain guarantee information, and we're making it as easy and transparent as possible. And then we have built an algorithm in-house together with some other IT suppliers where we are taking data sources from multiple APIs, taking unstructured and structured data, working it through the algorithm, and then give a response to the company if we're able to provide a guarantee immediately. So we are avoiding a lot of the time-consuming activities related to working on the risk analysis that's involved when it comes to guarantees. And the system is also set up in a way where companies and agents and brokers on behalf of companies are getting easy access to report functions where they can get description of the guarantee information. We are doing the guarantee documents automatically, processing them automatically, and also the invoicing and electronical signature, for instance. So we're gathering everything in one place, making it as seamless and efficient as possible for the customers.
Yeah, and towards the end, we said we would also speak of some of the elements that we've used within this transformation of guarantee management. Would you like to start with a couple of these?
Yeah, absolutely. We can start with the thing which has been probably the most important for us, and that is to make automation, to create automation in a process which is very complicated and time-consuming, and that has been the main focus in this project, trying to do a lot of these time-consuming processes as automatically or as also automatic as possible, and providing especially the small and medium enterprises with a good solution here in Norway. And of course, the self-service part has also been very important to avoid the bottlenecks of going back and forth with information between HouseOfGuarantees and the customers. So we want the customers to understand and get the transparency of the guarantee process themselves without too much involvement from HouseOfGuarantees by using Contemi's understanding of creating a good and intuitive interface for the customers.
And there's also avoiding going back and forth and having that automation in place. You would need to have an ecosystem capabilities in the system. So having that, open APIs and simple to use plugin connectors to basically enrich the solution and the service to the customer has been quite important, and also will be important as we grow going forward as well. And finally, I would say, so strong element has been the partnership. So a partnership that focuses on continuous improvement, customer and user experience, and ultimately a win-win situation. So it's been every dialogue with with HOGS is like, it's positive. Of course, there are some issues from time to time, but most of it is positive and wanting each other to succeed. So I think that's really crucial. And I think also within NCE, finance innovation, having that partnership and collaborating with others within the cluster, that's really positive.
Thank you so much, guys. That was very insightful. This video will be available to watch later if you want to rewatch it. And there you have the contact information. So I'm sure you feel free to contact Daniel and Marius if you have any further questions. Thank you for joining us today for Short and Sweet, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening in.
Thank you very much.